Hello there, viewer. Mr. Person who clicked on my YouTube channel, or Mrs. Person. Bet you're wondering, why did I choose this guy? What does he have to offer to the discussion of Conker? Well, maybe I don't have anything to offer, but I do know that when I found this game, I was down on my luck, kind of in a drought, looking for anything to satisfy my curiosity. I was in this rut of despair, not knowing what next to play, so I dove deep into the depths of the sales page and then looked through all the backwards compatible games, looking for something to satisfy that itch that was growing underneath my family jewels, something to get deep down in there. It was like an itch like chlamydia, just deep, embedded, driving me nuts, and I needed something with edge. One would call it a bad fur day. Conker's bad fur day, that is what popped up on the screen in front of me. And I thought, I could go for a platformer with edge. So let's get into it. God, does this game have edge. Now, the way this game starts, kind of like I alluded. You start with this little pan-out shot of Conker explaining how he's king now. He's the king of everything, surrounded by a bunch of people who you don't know yet. And then it cuts in to looking at his girlfriend's ass while he leaves her a voicemail pretending that he's like drinking with soldiers about to go to war, when really he just is being an absolute degenerate. And speaking of degenerates, his girlfriend is hotter than shit. And before you losers come in the comments being like, look at this furries, I'm not into that, right? I don't think people dressing up in costume and going out there and gallivanting are like attractive. I don't think real animals are attractive. But hey, you show me Lola Bunny, you show me Conker's girlfriend, I'm there. I was like, damn, she's kind of hot. She's got like that weird like California girl vibe, but she's a fucking rabbit, right? And then you get back to Conker. And Conker is a degenerate, bro. He is falling apart. This night where he lied to his girlfriend about being there, and he didn't really lie to her because, she didn't even answer, but he gets trashed. I mean, he's throwing up on people, dog. He's like this poor blind person with a tablet, doesn't even know what's going on. It looks like one of those wizards from the Mario games, which if you know anything about Nintendo, you know that Rare bolstered what they became. That Rare really pushed them in the direction that they became iconic for, like their 3D side of things, and even with their racers. I mean, Rare is kind of the pushing force behind Mario Kart, but it was like Diddy Kong Racing. But anyways, the whole side story going on in this is, one, Conker's falling apart. Two, you got this king guy, right? This Panther. He's like Panther Martin over here, just killing it, and he's wants to drink some milk. He wants to get some of that golden bosom juice. He wants some of that, and the problem is when he goes to put it on the table, his table's missing a leg. And the ridiculous things about this leg that constantly go on through the game is just hilarious. It's such an easy problem to solve. Put a new leg on the table, but it's got that British humor in this game. It's got that fucking Monty Booge type humor. If you don't know who the Monty Booge is, I'm sure you've seen that video with the Seaman thing where he's like, I'm old Greg. Well, you've seen Old Greg. Look up Old Greg and you'll understand. This game's got tons of humor like that. Well, anyways, you wake up in this bright green world. And you do talk to the Scarecrow guy, but I kind of cut him out because I didn't feel like he was that necessary. But the world is just this bright, open, green world. You're kind of get this free open world hub type thing going on throughout the whole game. And you go to different zones throughout it. It's very, very platforming, and it's iconic Rareware shit. It's nothing breaking the mold, but you run around with a baseball bat with nails and a razor blade in it. The whole game is just edgy. This game's edgy to be edgy. It's taking that cutesy bullshit that you grew up with, your Mario 64s, your Banjo Kazooies, and it's flipping it on its head and adding edge to it. I mean, one of the main first things I did in this game was steal this honeycomb, right? I went and talked to this bee. She's crying. She's like, oh my gosh, my hive. Where's my hive? And I'm like, bitch, calm down. I know some wasps that are up there being all weird and shit. I'm gonna go steal it back from them. So I grab it and I just start trucking, baby. I mean, I'm on the long dick haul, bro. I am cruising, and I'm trying to get her hive back. So I give it back to her, and this chick just starts pulling out the gats, bro. She's dropping in and shooting these guys down like absolute nut jobs. It's like insane. You watch these guys get obliterated. I mean, I was like, whoa, dude. It like zooms in on them. I mean, these guys are all like mafioso types, or like not mafioso, more like the henchmen in like a bad cartoon. It has that 90s cartoon henchman vibe, and they just blow them the hell up, dude. Just tear them a new butthole. I mean, this is like some prison butthole stuff. Lots of prison hole tearing. And she's all happy, and she gives you some racks, because the whole thing is you're trying to find money, right? You're trying to collect enough money to get this barrel. You gotta pay this barrel, right? And then he will guide you to some area. So you really don't know what's going on. So you do these odd tasks throughout the game to get that cheddar, baby. Those dollar bills, y'all. Like one of them, I found this sad bee. He's like married to the bee from earlier. And you get him to meet the big-breasted plant so he can pollinate. And just look at Conker's face right here, bro. Look at that sad face, dog, because all you're hearing is like, and then you see this old-ass bee. You hear this old-ass bee just plowing these tits, bro. He is titty fucking her so hard, bro. He's just flossing those tits, and I'm like, oh, that's creepy. And she's like, why don't you have a bounce? And I'm like, a bounce, bro? What type of... Now, you call this a platforming game? And, like, it's got that breaking the fourth wall thing, too. It's got that Deadpool-esque humor, along with the British humor. And this game just freaking works, dude. I mean, it just... Every moment, like... Obviously, I'm a guy who likes tits and ass, and I like attractive women. And this game had me questioning how I look at flowers for the rest of my life. I'm gonna start like driving by like flowers and being like, "Damn, you're hot." Not really. I'm not a degenerate. I don't like. It's the same thing that goes with like the farty conversation. Just because I find that rabbit attractive doesn't mean I'm gonna look at real rabbits and be like, "Whoa, my nipples are hard." No, fuck off. I'm joking. But yeah, the weird characters you meet along the way in this game are just out of this world. They're all goofy. Like, one time I met this gear that, like, you flip it over and one side's nice. And it's funny because I'm not going to show it on screen because, I don't know, you can experience for itself. But you, like, put gears in place. And the one side gets turned on when you put gears on these posts. The other side gets turned on when you put the post in that gear. And I'm like, oh, one of the sides is gay. It's a bisexual gear. That's kind of clever. That's good writing. I don't know. Everything in this game, every new character you met had something going for it. Had some edge that was entertaining. Something about everyone in this game was fun to meet, and it made me want to keep meeting these weird, oddball characters. And it also helps that this game is a hell of a platformer as well. The gameplay in this is incredibly good. I mean, some of the boss fights, as gimmicky as they are, because all platformers have gimmicky boss fights, are hilarious and fun to play. I mean, like this one, for example, I run over and hit his balls with bricks, bro. I am, like, removing his ability to have children, or whatever he would have. He's like a fire thing. But you, like, knock his nuts off. And every boss fight's fun like this. I enjoyed all of them. I felt like every time I did something new, this game would one-up itself, do something crazier, and the whole time, I'm fucking saddled up for it. I am bricked up, jizzing up, and having a good time, dude. I am flossing my butthole with my goddamn underwear. No, I'm not. That's weird. What am I, what is that called, a banana hammock or something? No, I'm not gonna wear a banana hammock. I play Conker's Bad Fur Day. But this is the type of game that would make that joke. And I like that because it's like we're in a world where these games aren't making jokes anymore. And this is from a time where it was still okay to have some edge, still okay to be really crude and do some wild and crazy stuff. And some poop humor was funny. Back when people still were like, no, that's gross. I'm a little whiny cuck. No, dude, this game doesn't have any shits to give. It gives all the shits, bro. And like this cow, right? This cow level where I like have a boss fight with a cow just plows its butthole down a drain, bro. It's just like exploding out of its anus, just like squirty flirty type shit, dude. You know what? What those weird guys want to have happen on their chest from like Amaranth. right? It's that type of squirting going on, and I'm like, this is funny. I mean, it's gross, obviously. This game's full of gross references, but it's funny, and you get to ride a bull, and like every time you charge it, like will kick you off, and then you got to get the bull to like run into a like a hay pile and get stuck so you can jump on it and ride its ass, just so that you can murder the cows, dude, because killing them was necessary. We gotta blow them into a bunch of pieces after we gave them like violent diarrhea. Obviously we gotta murder them because that's the funniest thing to do, and it's just like blowing things into pieces in this game with just ultimate amounts of like violence and blood. It seems so out of place in this game, so it's so much funnier. Like, obviously when you're playing like a game like Dead Rising or The Last of Us or Halo or something, when you see gore, you're like, it makes sense, it fits in here. This game, it doesn't fit in. It's like the movie Sausage Party. That movie, like, filmed like a Pixar film. When you watch it, you're like, whoa, this ain't for kids. This is that type of game, bro. And I know back in the N64 days, this is the Live and Reloaded, so this game came out for Xbox. Yet, I know the original N64 game and this version, some kids' parents bought it because they were like, oh, look at the cutesy characters. It's a little cute platformer. And they bought it, and then all of a sudden, you're playing missions where you're following, you have this cute little dinosaur following you, right? Or you're just like feeding him some silly little Neanderthals, a bunch of goddamn idiots. See, you're feeding this cute little dinosaur. Look how cute he is. It looks like he was out of that movie, what was that, like the Never After or Never, I don't know, the one with Littlefoot, whatever that one was called, that ruined like kids for years for dinosaur names. They're like, well, it's a pterodactyl, I thought they were a winging monster. You know that one. I don't know what it's called, but Land Before Time. Was it Land Before Time? Yeah, Land Before Time. God, I'm killing it. But yeah, you're doing this little thing with the cute little dinosaur. It was the cutest thing in the world, bro. Like, it was a Gucci. It reminded me of Yoshi, but cuter. Like, if you could take Yoshi and multiply that cuteness by like 45, that was this mother trucker, dude. I was like, oh, you're so cute. And I knew what was going to happen to him, right? I knew what we were going to do. I didn't feel good about it, but I was like, this is that type of game. Bro, the whole thing has you lead him to the zone, shoot this thing to drop down on top of him and squish his ass. Like, look at that cute face. Look how cute it is. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And I'm like, oh no, look at this. Look at this right here, bro. It's just done. You just obliterate this poor dinosaur. After you grew, like, you hatch it out of an egg. You guided it along its path in life, only to murder it. You murder children in this game. Constantly. And as messed up as that is, I mean, it's not like he really has a choice. He's kind of stuck in this dread that he's living in, and he knows that his girlfriend's been kidnapped, sort of. These mob guys have her, so he's just kind of dealing with the cards he's dealt throughout this entire game, and you kind of feel bad for him, because when you do run into your girlfriend again, she's sitting on some dude's life, and you're on some dude's lap, and you're looking like an Ooga Booga man, and everybody's like, oh, you're trying to steal money from us? And I'm like, I guess, dude, I'm just trying to live, to be honest. I have no idea really what's going on. I don't understand why I'm here. You seem incredibly threatening because you got this whole, like, Scarface vibe. And why does everybody want to kill me? I just feel like I'm out. And then my girlfriend doesn't recognize me because I'm all ooga booga'd out, right? They're like, whoa, you look like a Neanderthal. And I'm like, I guess, bro. I'm just trying to fucking get paid, dude. I'm just trying to get my racks. And my girl's just like throwing shade on me, bro. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, bitches be bitches, bro. They always hoeing themselves out. I thought we were tight and all. And then this guy wants me to murder an entire, like, group of people. All the Ooga Boogas, I just murder them all. And by the time you get through this, you get this massive boss fight where you ride a dinosaur, which kind of hype. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was kind of messing with this boss fight. And again, it does have some more ball humor, but I'm not like going after his cojones this time. I mean, I am and I'm not. I'm trying to pull his pants down. Trying to catch him with his pants around his ankles. You know, just kind of like when you walked in and your girl was getting plowed by your best friend, right? And you were just like, bro, I caught you with your pants around your ankle. That's funny. You got me good this time, bro. And then you bite his butt cheeks. Well, I don't know if you bit your bro's butt cheeks, because that's weird. I don't want to get into that much of a deep rabbit hole. You and your bros do whatever you got to do. I'm just gonna stick over here with my wife and just be happy, right? I'm not gonna let her go out. But anyways, this guy's got like a fine ass wife, and every time you bite his butt cheek, she's laughing, thinking it's hilarious, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's got a little wiener. He's a giant ooga booga man with a little wiener." Ha ha, little wiener stuff. And see, bro, it goes to show, if you have a small wiener, don't be ashamed of that crap, bro. To show it out to the world. Don't show it out to the world. You're gonna get yourself arrested. But be proud of it, bro. Be like, yeah, I got a small wiener, but damn do I know how to use it. It's very proud of me, and I'm very proud of it. And like, see, then you get chicks like this. Like, she's all turned on by a squirrel right now. I know that if I had it, she saw me, she'd be like, you have a small wee-wee, but I think you're pretty sexy. And I'm like, I think you're a sexy giant lady too. And of course they couldn't make it work out because she's like, Ooga doesn't like to say goodbyes. And I'm like, bro, this is sad. I mean, one, his regular girlfriend's being like a pain in the ass to him. But the next chick he finds is like the perfect woman. She's not going to work for him either because they're from different worlds. Which to me, I thought was kind of funny because his wife's like a rabbit, and you don't see squirrels and rabbits having sex very often. So, like, this whole giant thing would have worked. I mean, I don't think that he could have satisfied her because he would have had to crawl into that vagina. But after this, you do end up having enough money to go to the next area. And this place was like straight out of Bloodborne, but before Bloodborne. It's very, very like Count Dracula world type stuff, right? It's that Gothic world. And I was like, bro, and they give me a gun? I'm literally blowing heads off of zombies as a squirrel dressed like Van Helsing. How cool is that? This game just did not know how to stop being freaking badass. It's just blowing its load over everything, bro. It's like a cum shot compilation of coolness, bro. It really does take the cake for being badass. And this game just, one, it has edge. Two, it has like some insanely good biomes and insanely good variety in gameplay. Three, God, I'm forgetting how to count. I'm so in love with this game. But three, it also knows like how to flush it into the story. It's not just throwing you into these areas. Like at first you're like, oh, okay, I'm going doing these different things. No, this game flushes everything out and makes it vibe. It makes it work. And I honestly think it works this way because it sets itself up as a regular platformer from the beginning, right? It really puts you in the comfortable position of, oh, I played a game like this before. This is something I'm used to. I've played Rare games. I've played Banjo-Kazooie. I've played Mario 64. And then it starts to hit you with the wild humor. And it really kind of hits you with that shock humor and that crude humor that feels way out of left field. But you still feel like it's based in a normal platformer. And as the game starts to transition to some of the goofier stuff, you kind of don't even think about these transitions because you've been hit with so much shock humor along the way that it's not the transition of the game that's shocking you, it's the writing and the humor that's shocking you. It's everything else. So you're seeing this goofy stuff and you're just excited to see what the punchline is. You're excited to see like the guts and the gore of some of these weird areas because you're like, I'm down for this ride. I've never played anything like this and I want to keep experiencing whatever this game wants to throw at me. Because like even little stuff like this where I meet Dracula and he turns me into a bat, bro. He turns me into a little bat and I spend the whole time like feeding him villagers that the way I am able to pick them up is I have to poop on them and I can like zoom in using my butthole, which again I didn't put in the video because like when I'm zooming in with the butthole I really didn't know how that was going to turn out. I was like, I don't know, man, this video is already going to push terms of service because we live in a weak society where people can't handle edge anymore. And then the game slowly transitions to a next place after you kill Dracula and you move on to another thing. You're put on to like heading into World War II, straight out of Saving Private Ryan. And this game wears its influences on its sleeve. Actually, I think wears its influence on its sleeve is the wrong thing here because these are straight parodies of the actual movies that it's making fun of. I mean, you have Bram Stoker's Dracula. Right here, you have Saving Private Ryan. And I'm not gonna lie, but this scene being as close to the Saving Private Ryan scene, but with squirrels, was still as intense and as effective as Saving Private Ryan was itself. I mean, this tore me up. This whole area, I felt the tension. And when these guys start to die, I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. And like, it's funny at the same time of being awful. And the bad guys, instead of being Nazis, are Teddies with a Z, bro. So they still have the Z in the goddamn name. And you're just watching people get obliterated. It's glorious. And I didn't put the whole scene there because you need to go play this game, bro. You just need to go experience this game for yourself. You need to go, because this game turns into actually a pretty good third-person shooter. I wasn't a big fan of the shooting in the Dracula section. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. And when I got to this section, this shooting was good. I was like, oh, well, they actually did put some good third-person shooting in this. And it's funny because they actually had a multiplayer section where you're playing in war, which I wish that I would have had online back in the day on my Xbox original, because I never played online on that thing. Because I would have loved to have played this and actually experienced the multiplayer of this game. I think it would have been so much fun, because this section was balls to the walls thrilling. I had a blast. And I mean, just the enemy design was cool. I mean, I felt like I was playing a World War II third-person shooter, but with the squirrel, and it had edge, and it was funny. I mean, I've never thought, like, a game now would be so scared to be making a World War II thing funny. A game would. I mean, they still make movies like JoJo's Rabbit. I mean, that was funny, but this game takes a really serious portion, makes it humorous, but also gives it its darkness that it's due. And I just couldn't like gush over this section enough. I thought it was incredibly fun. I thought that this was like interesting as well. I mean, it was just like, this part was kind of scary. You got these scientists running around. You got like zombies busting out of this thing and coming after you. And I'm like, whoa, this game took a weird turn. And even for me, with me already playing a Dracula part, already fighting giant poo balls, this part fucking put me on edge, bro. And I was like, this is good. This is a good game. I enjoyed the shooting. It never felt like it was too spongy. It never felt like it was out of place. It truly felt like it was always supposed to be a part of this game. And I have to give Rare all credit where credit is due, that they actually made a fantastic game here. This game really takes you in different directions, makes you feel like you're playing different games in different sections, but still a part of the same game. And it's really hard to do that, especially when you're playing a game that like throws you for a curve. Like I said, a lot of games have tried that and messed it up entirely, and the fact that Rare was able to do something here that a lot of games couldn't, I mean, hats off to you British lads, right? Hats off to you British lads. I'll say it again, because you deserve it. You deserve the tip of the hat for this game. Because every boss fight was entertaining, everything was wild. I mean, you fight different things from different IPs, which I thought was insanely cool. I mean, this whole section was right after I had fought a Terminator-esque enemy. This whole area was like a fun boss. This is one of my favorite boss fights, because you shoot the little girl puppet off of his hand so that you can blow him up. That's cool. And then after this, you get a Matrix section when you're back hooked up with your girl. And this part was so goddamn cool. I mean, this was like, you could see that they were like, yeah, we don't just make platformers. We also are funny. We also have edge. We also are cool. Like, check out our freaking game. This thing was like, check out my goddamn game. They were slapping their dick on the counter, bro, and showing you that it isn't moldy. They're like, we don't have moldy penises here at Rare. Ours are crispy and clean. And for the girl developers, they were like spreading their legs and slapping their shiny clit, because they're like, yep, no mold on my clit either. Because these games don't have any mold on it. The game vibes. Everything vibes. I mean, even for this area, they made sure to add slow motion in, which is crazy, because like, slow motion was still a new thing in video games as of this point. There was a Matrix game, I think there was 2 Matrix games and Max Payne. So the fact that this is in like the early age of slow motion in video games and they were doing this, that's insane. That's so innovative for the time. And this game, actually, no, they did this I think they did this in Rare, the original Conker, but I don't know, I haven't played the original Conker, so it might just be in Live and Reloaded. But this part was awesome. I loved the Matrix reference. I love the Matrix in general. The first Matrix movie is so good. Such a terrible way to like take a franchise, but such a great first movie. And the fact that you get to play it as a goddamn alcoholic squirrel who's an asshole, perfect, dude. Perfect. It's just funny. And this whole ending push, bro, would have been messed up if they didn't take the time to make the gameplay actually fun. If they wouldn't have made these transitions well made and feel like the cutscenes work into the action gameplay that you're playing. You just feel like it works, it flows, you don't ever feel like the game's taking too much, and the death here that was impactful of your girl, dude, I was actually like, holy shit, because they shoot her in the chest after you rob this bank, and I was like, no, I actually was sad that Brandy was hurt, dude. I actually felt like Conker was like, are you serious? I finally have dealt with all the crap that you threw me, only for her to die, and I'm still not home yet. I'm still not goddamn home yet. I'm dealing with this goddamn king who wants to make me a table leg, and then the game throws you for a curve. And I've heard some stuff throughout the years of like watching YouTube videos on stuff that people don't like the way this game ended and don't like this final section. I know that I said one of my favorite bosses with the little girl thing, but my favorite, and I might have said favorite, but no, my favorite boss is this end boss. And it literally, you have a xenomorph shoot out of the king's stomach. This game, like I said, is parodying classic movies. So the fact that a xenomorph shoots out of his stomach and you fight the last boss fight like you're at the end of the Aliens movie. And this boss fight was fun. It was really cool. You have to map the bad guy's moves down, which the whole game you have to map down all the boss fights moves down. But this one felt like it was an action boss fight. Now, was it deep combat? No, I mean, it was jump and block, but it was cool. If you know anything about my channel, right? If you know anything about me, you know that I don't follow a lot of what people say. I'm going to be on a different wavelength a lot of times. And sometimes I'll be on the same wavelength. This game, I have to say that anybody who's hating on this xenomorph section of this game has, like, clitoris for brain. Not clitoris for brain. I meant to say syphilis for brain. They have syphilis brain and they don't understand what fun is. I mean, when you see the scientists who created this monstrosity get murdered or get attacked by its own creation, its own, like, monster that it had brought into this world, and then you grab it in a giant machine and chuck it out of freaking doorways. It's cool, it's vibes. I had so much fun with this. This was my favorite boss fight in the entire game. It was the most cinematic. It was funny how they ended, because the whole ending here, after you chuck him out, the xenomorph keeps coming back, and then there's like, the game glitches out and freezes. So then he like gets the developer to cut into the game. Now, this is an early example of this. This has been played out at this point. I've seen it too many times, but the fact that he did this back before like the Matrix games did it and before everything else did this, I was like, I looked at this game in its time period and I felt like this game used the humor of this cut in the right way, and it felt so in place with the humor that was already set in this game, and with it hitting the way it did, and the fact that he has the developer cut in so that he can cut the xenomorph's head off with a goddamn katana, only to be there was thinking he should have saved Brandy instead of this just killing the xenomorph in a cool way. I mean, that's Conker all over it. It fits the whole narrative of this game, of him making stupid ass decisions, dealing with stupid ass scenarios, and when push came to shove, he made the wrong choice again, as he's made throughout his entire life. Sits to a greater meaning. I don't know, it was impactful for me. I really loved the way this game ended, and it just felt like it was a perfect encompassment of what this game was going for, and I would have loved to see another Conker game, but the fact that we're sitting in 2023 without Conker 2 is absolutely insane. I would have loved to have seen what Rare could do with this, but I don't think any of that Rare still works at Rare, so we'll never see another Conker. But if they could go back and remake this game and give it a true remake where they don't change anything, they just up-res it, make some of the gameplay changes they need to, because the game holds up pretty well. But I would love to just play the online portion of this game and play it when it was like active and running. That's the only reason why I'd like this game to come back. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you played Conker's Bad Fur Day? Because if you haven't, you should. And like my channel, you goddamn degenerates, and subscribe, because Conker's sitting on a throne of his own mistakes, and I'm sitting here ranting into a camera, and I love you. Catch you later.